to go ahead and introduce our 4:30 panelists. We're very excited. Laura Krimberg is joining us. Laura, this session is going to be App EDU Mobile, a learning object for the creation of educational applications focused on the M student profile. This session presents App EDU Mobile, a mobile application that allows to create mobile educational resources for the contemporary student. The session will cover the planning, development method, implementation, technologies used, and evaluation of the app. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Laura, and you can share your screen if you'd like.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine. I'm Laura. I'm here representing my research group. Anna Sonego, Leticia, Ketia, Sylvia, Jacqueline, and Patricia. So I'm here to present this learning object, App EDU Mobile, and is the creation. It helps with the creation of educational applications focused on the M student profile. So a little bit about me. I'm today working as a user experience and interface designer at Cobe Creative Software House here in Brazil. Here in Porto Alegre, Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, my city. I'm a master in education at URGS, Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul, here in Brazil, which I participated in NUTED Research Group, which is the nucleus for technologies applied to education. I was a former CNPq fellow, which is a governmental organization here in Brazil that gives fellowships to master and PhD students. And I am a bachelor in graphic design also. I have this background, so I mix a little bit with design and education. So in our research report today, we're gonna have an overview, methodology and approach, the research findings, and for final insights and opportunities. So let's start with the theoretical framework with this overview. We can see that today in worldwide, M-learning is becoming more and more popular. So people every year are using more and more mobile devices in their tablets, in their smartphones. They're using apps in a diverse field of activity. So we can see people using to solve many problems, and also, of course, for education. So in different fields of education also. In Brazil, we have a huge importance too, because we have people that have different profiles. So we have Brazil is too big, so we have people that have specific devices to connect with the internet. We have people that have other kind of devices. So we have this social economical also differences of these profiles. And this increases also the need for customized teaching. So more and more we will see that we have different people using in different ways mobile devices for learning, and it depends also on their context. But we have a study that leads us to the M student profile. Is like the mobile student that I studied and created this name in my dissertation. So we have like this kind of behavior profile that students and teachers also. So it's not just a generation that have these behaviors. They have like a quick and autonomously search for content. They are multitasking people, so they use different applications to learn different things, engage in activities that are interconnected to personal interests. And also, because we have small screens, they have an impatience for long activities and lectures. And this changes their learning, their actions in the classroom, and of course, in online and hybrid learning. So in these devices, we also have these digital educational materials. which are any digital resource for educational purposes and pedagogical foundations. It can be an article, an infographic, an image, animations, videos, and also apps. So we see a context that we have a lot of people using mobile devices. They want to learn about it. They want to learn different things in their mobile devices. And at the same time, we have teachers that are trying to see how this profile can learn better, how they can create more interesting and engaging materials. So we see here an opportunity and the need of new educational materials and of course applications for this kind of profile that we saw in Brazil. So what we did, our methodology and approach. We had an objective to develop, implement, and evaluate this digital educational material we created to help students and teachers to build their own mobile devices apps. So we called it App ED Mobile. And the research approach, we used the ConstruMed methodology, which focus in different professionals that are contemplating pedagogical, graphical, and technical planning for creating educational materials. And the app was developed through 5 steps: preparation, planning, implementation, evaluation, and distribution. In the first stage of preparation, we defining this interdisciplinary group that developed the application, which we had educators that were responsible for navigation and content and learning materials, designers that were responsible for interface design, for visual identity, and developers that implemented the app in the programming language and made the bug fixes. For the planning, we started drawing a navigation map that we defined. It will have 3 main tabs. So you can see that we have M-Student, educational applications, and parameters as the main tabs. All those tabs, they had an explanation, a textual explanation, support materials like from infographics to videos to tools they could use to download outside the app also. So we had a lot of materials for them in each one of these tabs, and also challenges that they could share in social media. So how they could really put all this effort in their classroom and make it work. It was a non-linear navigation, so each one could make their own path inside the app. We didn't have like some kind of things that you needed to do to reach some part of the app. The app was totally free to you to explore and do your own path. For implementation, we used Nielsen and Voodoo and W3C recommendation regarding usability and accessibility. And we use mainly metaphors that students are used to in icons and a clear font for them to read it. And the development was made in Flutter, the programming language, mainly to Android devices. Here is some of these interfaces. So you can see we have a splash screen right on the left, and then it goes to the menu, and then a guide how the app works and how it really, you can really enjoy it. And all those tabs I was talking about with some textual things, and then challenges, and also we have a video of this prototype, so we can show a little bit of how it works. So you can see there is a menu, and this says that you are welcome. It's all in Portuguese, so it may be a little bit different, but you can see, you can navigate to materials, and we have infographics you can share in social media, and also challenges. They can answer it and also share in social media with other teachers, with students, and how they wanted to. And in this step, we also evaluated in this one, and the application was tested mainly by volunteers. That first they reported some bugs and errors, and then they answered a survey that had 25 qualitative and quantitative questions. We interpreted this data using content analysis. So a recruited sample of research participants were experts in the field of technology related to education, such as professors from Brazilian universities. 20% of those were PhDs, 50% were masters, and 30% were postgraduate. In the last step, we made available to the university through an Android APK file as a Google Drive link. For now, we are trying to fix some bugs and putting on a App Store and Google Play. So it's a little bit in a reviewing situation. So what we saw, what we found out with this evaluation of this app we created. We saw that 70% considered the app clear and concise, and 60% considered the app highly relevant, and 80% the app design clear. So in general, these are good numbers for us because we think we have a lot of professors from different fields, so maybe some of them, they had knowledge in mobile devices, some of them don't. So it's really nice to see that it was concise, all those contents we put on it, and the app design clear, and also the relevance. But this is the main thing we found out, that 80% consider that the app activities provide practices as enabling hypothesis creation, interaction, reflection, and exchange, and of course, construction of knowledge. This was really important considering the M student profile, because it is a profile that need to be engaged by creating and imagining things and interacting and exchanging with other students and building its own path to knowledge. So for us, it was a really interesting finding that the app provided practices like that. The M Student tab, so the tab that talked about the M Student profile and had its support materials and also the challenges. It was really helpful for some participants because they can target their audience. So they can see how their students are responding, if they have those characteristics, if they don't, which characteristic they have, and also they can identify who will use the apps they are creating. So it was really interesting. And one insight we can highlight is this one, that I can develop apps with seniors for younger people. So this is really interesting. It's something that it's intergenerational. So it's some characteristics that maybe seniors will have that also younger people can have. And the contribution of educational apps tab, it's mainly the support materials. We have a lot of information in infographics and images, and also many tools they could use. So there were tools to edit videos, there were tools to create their own images, there were tools to create their own surveys for the students. And of course, there were tools to really create apps with no coding. So this really was helpful for, I think, all those teachers and all those participants of the research. And in the parameters tab, we can see that it reflects one another. So there are some participants that think this was the main one, the main tab of the app, because it teaches really you how to create having no experience. So it gives tips about how to create a really clear design, how to create an app without coding, but having this sense of how it really works and how it could work with coding. And of course, the pedagogical content. So how can I use all this content I have in a book or I have for my classroom in an app? How can I translate this to an app? And we also had a finding that 90% consider that the app is easy to use, flexible, and reusable. And this last word is very important in Brazil because there are some teachers, some schools, some universities that don't have a budget to create one app after another. So it's really important for materials and apps and digital educational materials to be reusable here in Brazil. Also, 80% consider that the app is engaging and instigating with consistent navigation. So we thought that this was really, really interesting too, because we need to engage people through small screens is always a challenge. So what we learned, some other insights and opportunities for finalizing, and we think that we can enhance learning through apps. It's a really viable possibility. We see that creating apps is much easier. You don't need coding today. We have tools you can use. So it can enhance even the teaching process, because you can create your own apps with your students. This can be an activity for your students. And there are individuals that are connected, that like mobility. So it's something to think about it. And teachers planning also, that it's something important that we stated, that teachers should plan and implement activities that contemplate the use of mobile devices. Maybe not creating their own apps, but maybe using it, maybe evaluating it, maybe contributing to people to use those kind of devices in classroom. And app edu mobile could support learning. So we understand the development of those educational materials, such as this one we created, have a potential tool that can contribute. So we can teach professors, we can teach students how to create their own apps through app edu mobile. These are references, and thank you very much. That's it.
That was wonderful. So interesting and so important right now, especially with everything that's going on. I mean, I don't know someone who isn't glued to their phone, especially especially students.
Yeah.
So having the ability to have this and have teachers be able to create something with their students so interactive, that's so important. I think that's really amazing.
Yes.
I will open it up. I'm looking in Hoover right now, just in case there are any questions. If anyone does have any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A. We also have all of Laura's information on our Learning Conference Ideas website. So you'll be able to find that there too. Yes, that's just so interesting. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to
you
all of
much.
your teammates, I know you're presenting. I know you have a lot of people that you've worked on this. Thank them as well.
Thank for my research group.
Yes, your research group
wouldn't be able without them.
Yeah, it's really great. And how long have you been working on this for?
Oh, I think at the app for 1 year.
For 1 year?
Like
okay.
Yeah, half a year, 1 year. Yeah.
Great. Been a busy year.
Yeah.
This was the year to do it.
We did a lot.
Yeah. And I think that was so important that you said that it's reusable, because you can create so many different things, and that is so important right now, especially where you're at too, with limited resources. That's something that I feel like should be shouting from the rooftops about this app. wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And thank you so much, Laura, and your team for creating this app. And if anyone wants any more information, please check out our Learning Ideas website. It has all of Laura's information on there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you later on the week for more streams.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.